Organic food has evolved from a niche movement to a mainstream category. But questions around quality, transparency, and trust continue to shape the industry. Today, we are joined by Satyajit Hange, co founder farmer at Two Brothers Organic Farms, to understand the journey on building actually with Abhishansa. Welcome to the show, Satyajit, and really glad to have you here. So, before we dive into the major things, Ajinkya and you left the banking career in 2012, came back to your village, started working on your own farm, and eventually built Two Brothers Organic Farms into one of the India's most recognized organic food brands. So, but before we get into the business and the scaling journey, I want to understand the foundation of all of this. So, because we would be talking a lot about what is the word organic and regenerative farming. So, when people hear this word organic and regenerative farming today, everybody seems to have a different notion about it. If you can help us understand for the unversed, what does organic actually mean in its truest sense and what exactly is regenerative farming?
Awesome. So thank you for having me over. I'm Satyajit, the co-founding farmer at Two Brothers Organic Farms. Well, this started off as a passion project. We are sons of farmers, both me and Ajinkya, who are co-founding farmers for this brand. I'm born in a village called Bhodani, which is a 2-hour drive from Pune, but brought up in a boarding school in Pune all our lives and did our education, our university in Pune, and then got working with banks. But I think 4 5 years in the job, we realized we weren't cut out for a banking job, and our heart lied in the farm and the village where we used to
Hmm.
spend our summer and Diwali holidays. And we left our jobs 12 years back to go to the farm and just farm and be with livestock and growing food and stuff. Once out there, we realized the kind of practices that were going on from the last 40 50 years are not sustainable. And,
Hmm.
soil health is taken a beating, soil fertility has gone down, biodiversity both above and below the soil has taken a beating, and the food that is being produced is of very low nutritional quality compared to what was produced 30, 40, 50 years back. And that started concerning us, and then began our journey to look for more sustainable ways of farming. By sustainable ways, you call it sustainable, organic, natural, biodynamic, permaculture. These are all synonyms, according to me. Basically, farming without damaging soil health and ensuring that the next generation gets an option to farm on the same soil and same farm. So, our journey
Hmm.
started 12 years back, and all our efforts are towards growing food of the native variety without chemicals so consumers can get access to high quality food.
Right. So, what is organic and regenerative farming? How are you using it? Like अभी
So
तक हम
organic, like
ऐसी
I
क्या
said,
फार्मिंग कर रहे थे ऐसी हम ऐसी क्या फार्मिंग कर रहे थे इतने 30 40 ईयर्स के बारे में जो आप बोल रहे हैं एंड अब आप उसको कैसे चेंज कर रहे हैं?
सो पिछले 50 60 ईयर्स जब से ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन आया है, 1960s में ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन आया, जहां पे गवर्नमेंट ने बोला कि आप केमिकल्स इस्तेमाल करो फार्म पे, मेजॉरिटी नाइट्रोजन बेस्ड केमिकल जिसे यूरिया कहा जाता है,
हम्म.
पोटैश और बाकी सारे केमिकल्स यूज करो ताकि आपका उत्पादन बढ़ सके और आप
हम्म.
अच्छा पैसा कमा सके। तो
हम्म.
किसानों ने ये इस्तेमाल करना शुरू कर दिया और
हम्म.
पिछले 50 सालों में इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं वो। और आज परिस्थिति ऐसे है कि कन्वेंशनल फार्मिंग मतलब मॉडर्न फार्मिंग यानी केमिकल बेस्ड फार्मिंग, लेकिन
हम्म.
जब इस्तेमाल करना शुरू कर दिया था तब उनको लॉन्ग टर्म इफेक्ट्स पता नहीं थे कि इससे सॉइल की हालत कैसी होगी, इससे उनकी आमदनी पे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा, इससे लोकल एनवायरनमेंट और क्लाइमेट पे क्या फर्क पड़ेगा, जो अभी
हम्म.
एविडेंट हो चुका है। पिछले 50 सालों में हमने ये सारे केमिकल्स यूज करके सॉइल में जो सूक्ष्म जीवाणु होते हैं, जिसे हम बैक्टीरिया, फंगाई, नेमाटोड, प्रोटोजोआ, अर्थवर्म्स, केचुए कहलाते हैं, ऐसे
हम्म.
बहुत सारे माइक्रोबायोलॉजी है, इसको हम अभी मार चुके हैं, जिसकी वजह से सॉइल की हेल्थ बहुत खराब हो चुकी है। वेन एवर देर इज अ फ्लड, सॉइल की क्षमता नहीं है कि वो फ्लड का पानी सोक इन कर सके, और वेन एवर देर इज अ ड्रॉट, सॉइल की क्षमता नहीं कि वो पानी होल्ड करके ड्रॉट में जो क्रॉप्स है उनको सर्वाइव कर सके। तो इस फार्मिंग को केमिकल मॉडर्न फार्मिंग कहा जाता है। एंड व्हेन वी गॉट बैक टू फार्मिंग, हमने ये बहुत नजदीक से देखा कि ये फार्मिंग में कोई मजा नहीं है, ये फार्मिंग तो सबको मार के और अल्टीमेटली खुद को भी किसानों को मार देगी। तो
हम्म.
इसमें कोई लॉन्ग टर्म दिख नहीं रहा है। तो हमने ये चेंज कराया और
हम्म।
हमने ट्रेडिशनली 50 साल के पहले किस तरह की फार्मिंग होती थी। मैं तो
हम्म।
किसान हूँ, पीढ़ी नौ पीढ़ी किसान हूँ, मेरे सारे पुश्तैनी सब किसान हैं। तो मैं ये सोचा कि यार इंडिया में 5,000 साल से खेती किया जाता है, तो 5,000 साल ऐसे कौन से प्रकार की खेती की गई कि वो 5,000 साल कर पाए, और इस नई तरीके से तो 50 साल में भी खेती खराब हो गई है। तो हमने
हम्म।
स्टडी करके पता किया कि पहले फार्मिंग जो होती थी, ये गाय के गोबर, ये नेचुरल तरीके, नेचुरल फर्टिलाइजर्स, एयरलूम सीड्स मतलब देसी बीज, और पर्यावरण को हार्म ना करते हुए खेती की जाती थी। ये मिक्स फूड फॉरेस्ट फार्मिंग की जाती है। अभी मोनोक्रॉपिंग होता है, ये फॉरेस्ट
हम्म।
ट्रीज लगा के फार्मिंग की जाती है। तो हमने ये जाना कि ये फार्मिंग सही में लॉन्ग टर्म है, सस्टेनेबल है, और इस तरीके के फार्मिंग को हमने अपनाया, और जिसे हम ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग कहते हैं।
हम्म।
पूरे दुनिया में इस तरीके के फार्मिंग को सेंद्रिय खेती या ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग कहला जाता है। और इसमें रीजेनरेटिव ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग क्या है? तो रीजेनरेटिव मतलब आप खेत में से जितना निकाल रहे हो, उससे ज्यादा आप डाल रहे हो, ताकि आपकी खेती की जो फर्टिलिटी है वो नेक्स्ट सीजन में इस सीजन से भी अच्छी हो।
हम्म। ओके। तो आप जो कह रहे हैं, पर इसका क्या आउटपुट आउटपुट क्या उतना ही आता है? क्योंकि ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन में आपने जैसे बोला कि पेस्टिसाइड्स का यूज़ इसलिए किया जाता था सो दैट किसानों को आउटपुट ज़्यादा मिले। तो क्या रीजनरेटिंग फार्मिंग से उस पर इम्पैक्ट नहीं पड़ता?
आउटपुट पे तो बिल्कुल फर्क पड़ता है। आपकी आउटपुट जो है वो कम हो जाती है।
हम्म।
दो कारण है इसमें। एक कारण तो ये है कि आपने पिछले 40-50 सालों में जो केमिकल डाल डाल के फर्टिलिटी बर्बाद कर दी है, उस फर्टिलिटी को ऑर्गेनिकली बढ़ाने के लिए 1-2 साल नहीं लगेंगे, इसको कम से कम 8-10 साल लगते हैं। तो आपकी
हम्म।
यील्ड जो है, आपकी प्रोडक्टिविटी 8-10 साल के बाद थोड़ी थोड़ी सुधरती रहती है। तो
हम्म।
वो एक कारण है। और दूसरा कारण है कि आप अगर प्रोडक्टिविटी के पीछे लगे रहते हो, तो एक पीढ़ी में मतलब 50 सालों में आपने मिट्टी को बर्बाद कर दिया है। आप उतना ही निकाल सकते हो जितना आप डाल रहे हो, ताकि आपकी अगली जनरेशन भी फार्मिंग कर पाए। ये समझने की बात है। तो
हम्म।
प्रोडक्टिविटी के पीछे लग के आप लॉन्ग टर्म नुकसान कर रहे हो, शॉर्ट टर्म आपका गेन है। और
हम्म।
ये हमने सोचा समझा, और प्रोडक्टिविटी हमारी कम है, लेकिन जिस जो दाम मिलता है हमको, जब हम कंज्यूमर्स को बोलते हैं कि इसमें केमिकल्स नहीं है, लैब रिपोर्ट्स
हम्म।
जोड़ते हैं, सर्टिफिकेशन जोड़ते हैं, तो
हम्म।
उस लो यील्ड के प्रोड्यूस के लिए हमको हाई वैल्यू मिलती है। तो नेट
हम्म।
नेट इकोनॉमिकली ये
हम्म।
सस्टेनेबल हो जाता है।
हम्म। But how do you convince farmers to practice regenerative farming for you?
So one is, initially we did not convince anybody to practice regenerative organic farming. We did it ourselves on our own farm and kept our
Hmm.
farms open for consumers, for farmers to come and see the kind of farming we are doing. When they saw
Hmm.
it by their own eyes, they were convinced. And whoever wanted help, we have plugged in our system which helps them from seed stage till harvest stage to do this kind of farming. Also,
Hmm.
there are many farmers across India who follow movements that are built on natural farming. Like there is Subhash Palekar zero budget natural farming. Like there is Art of Living's chemical free farming. So there are
Hmm.
many other movements which are there, which you know teach farmers on how to farm without chemicals. So those farmers,
Hmm.
for them to get a better value, have plugged
Hmm.
into our systems, and we help them market their produce. So
Hmm.
it's a combination of those farmers, and now we are creating awareness through farmer training. So we have personally trained over 20,000 farmers till date, and
Hmm.
these trainings are ongoing every month. We speak to FPOs, villages, get them to our farm and show them the practices. And then when
Hmm.
they are convinced, we handhold them from seed stage to harvest stage.
पर आपने ये ट्रेनिंग कहाँ से ली?
गुड क्वेश्चन। मैं तो क्वालिफिकेशन से इकोनॉमिक्स किया हूँ और एमबीए किया हूँ। फार्मिंग तो मेरा परदादा का पेशा है और पिताजी भी फार्मर है। ये ट्रेनिंग हमने बहुत ही क्यूरियोसिटी से आई। हम क्यूरियस थे कि ये कैसे किया जाता है, पुराने तरीके के फार्मिंग कैसे थे। तो हमने बहुत सारे किसानों को विजिट किया। उनमें से अशोक इंगोले थे, उनमें से नारायण रेड्डी थे बैंगलोर में, उनमें से भास्कर भाई सावे की खेती है गुजरात में, उनमें से डॉक्टर एलियन इंगम है जो रोडेल बोल के एक संस्था है यूएस में जिस जो
Hmm.
ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग पे बहुत रिसर्च करती है, तो खुद मिसेस इंगम सॉइल माइक्रोबायोलॉजिस्ट है, और
Hmm.
उनसे और उनके लेक्चर हमने बहुत सुने। और भारत में गांव-गांव में ऐसे बहुत सारे किसान हैं जिनको हम अनपढ़ बोलते हैं, लेकिन जिनको मैं हाईली एजुकेटेड बोलता हूँ, क्योंकि उनको जमीन और उनको सारे जीव-जंतु की कॉन्शियसनेस है, जो इस तरीके के फार्मिंग करते हैं। तो उनके पास जा-जा के हमने ये सीखा और सारा कंबाइन करके हमने हमारे एक्सपेरिमेंट चालू किए।
Interesting, interesting. So organic today is growing massively as a category, and but at the same time, it's also one of the most distrusted spaces. How difficult is to build trust when consumers almost assume that everybody is either exaggerating or lying?
So, uh, I think whenever a sector gets attention and whenever there is a wave of consumers preferring that sector, there are some people who have genuinely built that entire awareness. There will be many imposters who come because of funding, because of pedigree education, because of copy and imposter syndromes. They will come and try to maximize only earning money from this
Hmm.
wave of awareness. And there are many brands which have come and doing this kind of stuff. So we have been working in this from the last 12 years. Okay, so whatever brand has been built very slowly. We started with our own farm. We're the only brand who knows how to farm. We handhold farmers from seed to harvest stage, and we have our own manufacturing unit. We do not
Hmm.
outsource any product. We make it ourselves in house. So quality ownership is high. Certifications. We are the only brand in India to be glyphosate free certified. Glyphosate is a chemical that is found in food, and we have been
Hmm.
certified by a third party, the Detox Project in US. We are
Hmm.
also, many of our farmers, I'm not saying all, but many of our farmers have completed their organic certified farms. Even my farm is now in the ninth year of being organic certified by EcoCert. So
Hmm.
all these certifications are something we ascribe to, and also in house we have our own laboratory that is NABL certified, and that
Hmm.
employs over 20 food scientists in house, which do comprehensive testing of all raw material that comes in and all finished good that goes out. So all of
Hmm.
this combined, we build trust. We call consumers to come and visit our farms and our factory. We've had over 15,000 customers in the last 12 years come and visit our farm and factory along with farmers. And they see by their own eyes how food is grown, how food is made. And I think that also adds to the element of building trust with consumers.
So, as you mentioned, everybody is hopping on the bandwagon. So, what do you think consumers are getting wrong, mostly wrong about organic food today? And on the other side, where do you think brands are overusing or exploiting the term?
So I think brands are exploiting the term because they do a branding and marketing job sitting in the city. They have no connection with farmers, manufacturing. They do not understand, a moringa powder is made from the moringa stick, the leaf, the branch, the root. But they will say, oh, moringa powder, organic certified और ऑर्गेनिक. सो उनको खेती का कुछ पता नहीं है, उनको मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का कुछ पता नहीं है. वो एक्सेल शीट पे रिसर्च कर लेते हैं कि ये सेक्टर बढ़ रहा है, क्विक कॉम पे ये सेक्टर बूम हो रहा है, तो मैं आईआईटी से हूँ, मैं आईआईएम से हूँ, मैं क्या फंडिंग ले आ सकता हूँ क्या एक बढ़िया बिजनेस प्लान बना के, और बढ़िया ब्रांडिंग, बढ़िया पैकेजिंग करते हैं और इसमें फंस जाते हैं. क्योंकि 1-2 साल आपको कस्टमर ट्रस्ट करेगा, लेकिन जब कस्टमर आपको डीप पूछेगा कि आपको क्या पता है फूड के बारे में, आप किस तरह की टेस्टिंग कर रहे हो, आप किस तरह का प्रोसेस फॉलो कर रहे हो, आप किस तरह का फार्मिंग कर रहे हो, तो इन सवालों का
Hmm.
उनके पास जवाब नहीं होता और बाद में ये
Hmm.
ब्रांड्स फेल हो जाते हैं. तो ये चीज ब्रांड्स कर रहे हैं. और कंज्यूमर्स, आई वुडंट ब्लेम देम बिकॉज it is always good to try out and believe somebody who's promised you something. That promise might not be fulfilled, that promise might fall flat on its face, but better than legacy brands who are giving you food with so much of preservative, additive, binder, filler, color, essence, perfume, chemicals, and which have no traceability. It is good you trust somebody who's promising you that. You'll fail once, you'll fail twice, but ultimately you will find the brand that keeps up to your promise and gives you food that lives up to your expectations.
Got it, got it. So, आप कंज्यूमर्स की बात कर रहे हैं कि वो एक ट्रस्ट फैक्टर या मतलब ब्रांड्स को बार बार ट्राई करके शायद वो समझ सकें. सो एज अ कंज्यूमर, क्या ऐसा देखना चाहिए कि दिस इज ये सारे सर्टिफिकेशंस तो होने चाहिए, कोई ऑर्गेनिक प्रोडक्ट के बारे में बात कर रहा है, एंड व्हाट टू अवॉइड?
So I think one is to see the lab test reports. If the brand is organic certified, organic certifications के mark होते हैं. जैसे हमारे पोर्टफोलियो में सारा सर्टिफाइड नहीं है, तो आप लैब रिपोर्ट्स देखना चाहिए, क्यूआर कोड होता है या कोई भी तरीके से, और इंग्रेडिएंट लिस्ट पढ़ना चाहिए कि इसमें रियल फूड के अलावा और क्या क्या लिखा गया है, और जनरली जो रिव्यूज होते हैं पब्लिक प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे वो पढ़ना चाहिए, और अल्टीमेटली रिस्क लेके खरीदना चाहिए और खुद खा के देखना चाहिए उसका क्या फर्क आ रहा है अपने सेहत में.
Okay. So you interact closely with both farmers and consumers. What are the some misconceptions city consumers have about farming and food production that really stand out for you?
So one is that food is costly. Good food is or clean food is costly. जब आप हिसाब शॉर्ट टर्म में करते हो और आप कंपेयर करते हो with products that are available in the market from legacy brands, is the wrong comparison, because legacy brands have built their brands and products to maximize their profits, both top line and bottom line, and not to address your health concerns or the farmer's income or the environment or the climate or anything else. So I think that should be considered. Yeah.
I feel farming has been slightly romanticized today, like especially on social media. But what part of agriculture still remains brutally difficult and unromantic even now?
The agriculture you do when you do not have passion for doing it, when your mind lies in a job in a city, when you just want money out of farming, all that kind of agriculture is brutally very difficult to do. When you approach agriculture because you are passionate about growing food, about doing experiments, I'm not saying money is not important, but not the first reason. If it's the second reason, and your first reason is passion and the curiosity to solve and grow, and the satisfaction you get from doing that, I think then any kind of farming, however physically difficult it might be, for us initially we should drive down 700 kilometers every weekend to and fro Bombay to sell our products in a farmer's market. We used to farm out there, get up on the farm, clean the cow sheds, dig up for sowing, work in harvesting, spray panchagavya in the evenings. It was laborious work, physically taxing, but it never tired us. It energized us. We were always having fun doing it. So when there is passion in what you're doing, any physical difficult work also is like a treat. When you have wrong expectations, when you prioritize money, and when you prioritize and look at farming only towards getting something out of it, then it troubles you, because farming has failures. Every 4 years there is a cycle which you will fail at. Farming is long term. Aaj so kiya to you have to tend it for years before you get the first harvest. And farming is a culmination of all subjects: biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics. Every subject culminates in farming. It is the only subject which requires every bit of you. And so, people who want to take on an adventure and who want to experience their personality to the full extent should take up farming.
Got it, got it. So, what's something about the food industry that if consumers truly understood it would genuinely shock them?
Oh, nice question. So I think when they understand that the food they are eating and the basic foods like the ghee they are eating, the oil they're consuming, the jaggery they're eating, the sugar, the flour they are consuming, name wise, if it says ghee, they will be surprised to know that not every ingredient that goes in making that ghee is ghee. So many adulterants are used in making that ghee because consumers want cheap. So the manufacturer puts so many adulterants to make it cheap. In oil also, you'll be surprised. The cost of peanut is 100 rupees a kg. It takes 2.5, 3 kgs of peanuts to make 1 kg of or 1 liter of cold pressed oil. But the prices are 180 and 190 rupees. The raw material price is 300 rupees. The manufacturing cost is different. The taxation, packaging, the transport cost is added up. How does somebody sell cold pressed oil for 180, 190? So consumers need to add up and do simple math and figure out what is going in their food. there are 100 adulterants which go in food, and sadly so over the last so many years it's been developing because consumers want food to be cheap. I feel that is the biggest mistake they do. They should invest in their health. They should not look at getting cheap food. They should look at getting food that is good for their health and pay the
Mhm.
right price for good food. Otherwise they will pay a bigger price in terms of health costs and other hospital costs.
As you rightly mentioned, India is still an extremely price sensitive market, and usually people question the expensive food कि इतना महंगा क्यों है, but rarely question about कि ये food इतना सस्ता
सस्ता
कैसा
क्यों
है.
है? बिल्कुल.
So, but how do you make sure that people who someone will actually spend significantly more on food? How do you make sure that?
So I mean, the brand that we run speaks to consumers in a very simple language and tells them that this is ghee which is made the right way. This is the economics. This is the math of it. You can come visit our farm. You can take this
Hmm.
ghee and give it for testing anywhere across the world. This is the oil that we make. This is the math behind the oil. This is the
Hmm.
jaggery that we make. This is the math behind the jaggery. We speak a simple language, and fortunately many consumers, because they have
Hmm.
had adverse effects on their health,
Hmm.
and the quality of food is poor right now, and they understand what we're telling them, do experiment initially with our products and later
Hmm.
on become users for life once they have eaten it and experienced the health benefits of it.
So basically, health is the core and actually the most important, or maybe the one of the reasons जिसके लिए लोग organic या price ज़्यादा pay करना चाहते हैं product food
Of
products
course,
के लिए.
product quality is superb, and that's why there's a cost attached to it. Apart
Hmm.
from just product quality, it's also the impact that that food has had on environment and other aspects before it comes to your table. Processes which come, or food which comes through a lot of chemical processes, really do not respect the land, the climate, the farmer, before it comes to your table. And food that we are selling, call it organic, sustainable, has been very conscious of how it has been grown, respects the farmer, respects the climate, and the biodiversity before it comes to your table. So both these aspects matter when you choose organic.
And if you had to honestly criticize the Indian organic ecosystem today, what do you think is broken?
I don't think so. Anything is broken. People
Hmm.
are evolving. It is very tough for somebody to put up a brand, to understand the complexities of farming, organic, manufacturing, testing, licenses, and then getting a product in front of a consumer. So I think people are trying, they are getting some things wrong. But overall, I believe it's a good trend because the more brands make promises, the more consumers will be asking for more and more proof to support their promises. So it's an evolving, industry. Over time, it will get sorted for in terms of processes and certifications and everything else. But right
Hmm.
now, I would say that there are many brands who are trying, and we need many more who will try to provide consumers with clean food.
As you were talking about how the food is made, how you're respecting the soil, respecting the farmer, do you think consumers genuinely care about how food is grown, or are most people simply looking to feel healthier and buy from brands they trust?
I don't really look at whether a consumer is cared or conscious about this. It is more important if it appeals, or if it hits my conscience, I have to make it the way I am satisfied with it. And then, talk to consumers that I've made it in this way. If I listen to consumers a lot and to trends a lot, I will end up making the same food that has damaged the soil and damaged the farmer and damaged your health.
Hmm.
So in this context, I would say we listen to ourselves more.
Hmm.
What is the food that I would like consuming at my home? I want to grow the food in that fashion, and I want to make the products in that fashion. So I'm not really attuned to consumers in this. I'm attuned to my own conscience in this.
And at a business level, how difficult is it to, build margins while also staying ethical? Because food is already such a difficult category.
um, it is in general difficult to run a business, is what I'm understanding. When you manage
Hmm.
people and money, it's far more difficult than managing a farm and growing food. But I think it's a positive challenge that has come to us, and we love solving for it, along with my colleagues who have left greener pastures to join us, because there is a lot of purpose and there's a lot of challenge in doing what we're doing. So while it is difficult, it is 100% engaging. It is an adventure that we have taken, and we love doing it. But yes, if you look at it from an outside perspective, and if you understand that there are so many things you have to do, you will never come in this sector. But if you jump in it because you are passionate about it, all those
Mhm.
things mean nothing. They just mean, you have so many reasons more to put your mind and put yourself to solve them.
So currently, Two Brothers Organic Farms land somewhere in at a premium sector. Have there been moments where you struggled with the contradiction of wanting clean food to be accessible while also needing premium price for the business to survive?
So the price is not premium, for us. The price is premium for consumers out of the choices that they have. For me, I'm paying the farmer well. I'm using the best practices of manufacturing the food, packaging the food in biodegradable stuff, and then getting it to the consumer. So for me, there is no premium that I'm earning that is different from the market. For the consumer, it is a premium price, and we are working on it. With scale, we can correct prices. In fact, this year we have dropped prices for four of our leading products by over 20-22%. So I
Okay.
think with time, as scale grows and we have efficiencies in the production and in the operations, the idea is to keep a certain margin and pass on
Mhm.
all these gains to consumers as price cuts, and make this kind of food more and more affordable to a larger segment of consumers.
So, was there a product that unexpectedly became a breakout hit and changed the trajectory of the business?
Khapli wheat. So that's a wheat variety that we got about in India and created a revolution. 10 years back, we discovered this wheat on our own farm. We were growing it on a very small piece of land, but we got it
Mhm.
tested and realized that it has low gluten and it has high fiber. And after eating it, there is no bloating, there is no sugar spike. So nearly everybody in India eats wheat roti. And so we decided to create awareness around this variety and got it back. It's a 4,000-year-old variety which became nearly extinct because after Green Revolution, government said grow the varieties that are yielding more and don't grow varieties that are yielding less. But the yielding more varieties actually yielded more gluten, which is troubling you, and you are having intolerance issues like gluten intolerance with this wheat. So we got about this wheat. We created awareness. Since the last 9 years, we have been creating awareness, and today we grow it with farmers over 3-4 thousand acres, and so many other brands and legacy leading brands have copied this product and have now introduced it to consumers because it means more money for them. For us, it always meant consumer force, and it meant their consumer health force, and that's the reason why we created the awareness around it. So this product Khapli has really stood out.
Well, that's amazing to know because I personally use Kapli wheat atta for sure. Because and after like since 4 or 5 years, and if you guys started this revolution, it's amazing, and I would like to credit you for that. And somewhere I was searching about the Instagram, and I saw there is another atta variant that you guys have started, protein art, something related to protein atta,
It's
right?
high protein atta.
High protein atta. So what is it about?
So we realize that over the last couple of years, there is this protein craze that's going on, and people are consuming and wanting, and people are being offered protein in a bar, in a chips, in nearly everything. When we studied this entire, craze, we realized that the protein that is there is good, but the protein comes on a base of ultra processed food. The bar has little protein, but the bar has maximum other stuff that is not good for you. The chips has
Hmm.
little protein, but the chips, the way it is made, has so much other ingredients that is not good for you. And the powders that you are eating, also protein powders, have bases that are not really good for you in the long term. So ultimately, they end up damaging your health in the name of protein. So we decided, like my grandfather was a wrestler. He used to exercise daily, work on the farm, yet ate simple farm food, and that gave him enough protein for himself. So we researched back and we realized that our khapli is high in protein, our soy is high in protein, our millets are high in protein, and we ended up making an atta out of all these ingredients. And surprisingly, this atta has more than 11 grams of protein in just two rotis. So if you have four rotis a day, you get 22
Mhm.
grams of protein, which is very good without having to eat ultra processed foods and
Mhm.
having to eat such costly sources of protein.
Right, right, right. Ghar ka khana can be your protein source.
Absolutely. It's a superfood
Right.
in itself.
So, and today, what really drives the business most strongly, like ghee, oil, staples, or newer categories?
So all our products do very well. The ghee, the atta, the wood pressed oils, the jaggery we make on the farm daily fresh, the jaggery powder, the chawan prash, the gulkand, all of these do exceedingly well.
And if you had to like pick one or two categories, what would that be?
Is the atta and the ghee category.
Okay, so take us back to the early days. What did the business actually look like when it started versus what it looks today?
So when we started, there was, like I said, no idea of making a big brand of business. It was a small farm that me and Ajinkya ran. We woke up to working on the farm, planting pomegranates, drumsticks, bananas, sugarcane, some millets, turdal, desi turdal. And on Saturday, Sundays, we drove down to the farmers market, set up stall, sold our stuff, interacted with consumers, developed community, had a lot of good fun with them, and then came back to the farm to work on the farm for 4 days. Now, as the business grows, we have realized that it's not only about pursuing our own personal happiness, but there's an obligation we have towards so many farmers who are associated with us. We work with now more than 5,000 farmers at the back end. There are so many colleagues who have joined this, and we have an obligation to ensure that we give them enough and more opportunities to grow personally and professionally. And there are so many consumers who trust us, more than 8 lakh consumers now across 50 countries. And it's become a life's calling to ensure that we benefit more farmers and benefit more consumers. And this is only possible if I grow the brand and grow the business. And so there's a stark difference to what we were doing 10 years back to what we are doing now. But we understand that this is equally important.
So earlier it was passion, and now it's an obligation to your stakeholders involved.
Yeah. Yeah. Consumers and
And
farmers.
yes. So what was the first product where you realized, okay, people are constantly willing to pay for this?
So initially, the products that we sold were ghee, jaggery, moringa powder, oil. So all the products, in fact, are products that you need daily in your groceries. And once people experience their quality, they have been consuming the ghee, the jaggery, the oils, and the attas since starting very regularly.
So, looking back, what were the real inflection points in the growth journey? Was it like a specific product or a content or D2C, COVID driven awareness, marketplace, celebrity backing? What really actually accelerated the business?
So nothing, no one thing accelerated the business. If you see the business growth from the last 8, 10 years, it's always been kind of, there has been no impulsive growth or no sudden growth or no sudden drop. Also, it's been linear and it's growing consistently. And I'm in fact very scared of anything that gives you a very sudden push,
Hmm.
because it's real food that we are growing. It's not a software code which I can multiply at the back end. I need to ensure that I'm growing it with my farmers. I'm processing it the right way. Overnight rise for demand for any particular thing also becomes difficult for us to process at the back end.
Right.
So I'm happy
Hmm.
it's growing linear, so we can manage growth and we can keep to quality.
So, what are your drivers for growth today?
The promise that we are giving good food, the communication that we give on our content, the transparency that we give by showing consumers how we're doing it, by personally allowing them to visit everything, the certifications, the lab reports that we take while making this food, and the ability to use technology, smart people, and marketing in the new age marketing is something that we pride ourselves on.
What do you mean by new age marketing?
So, like, if there was a choice that we would have got limited to only growing food and manufacturing food, many of the businesses in the food industry do only one thing. They either do marketing and branding, or they either do only manufacturing, or they either work with only farmers. We proudly do all of these three things because we feel that the promise that we're giving to consumers will fall flat if we have to outsource any of these three things. And
Mhm.
hence, we have our own in house marketing team, our own in house content team. All the people who join that team are inducted on the farm. They are shown processes on the farm. A lot of research is shared
Hmm.
with them. A lot of regular trainings is done with them. And we tell them, do not write or do not do anything only for attention's sake. Give real value that consumers need while they are scrolling, for their health, for the
Hmm.
ecosystem, and the team. And it's challenging because it's tempting to do something very stand out and attention seeking, but the team who works on content that and marketing techniques that actually give and deliver real value to consumers, it's a slow process. But like I've always been telling the team also, that look at the long term objective and not the short term in insight. And I think they have done a fabulous job when it comes to creating awareness about the brand and about the work that we do.
So, for someone buying your ghee, oils, or you're saying jaggery, chyawanprash, what actually goes behind creating that one product from the farm to shelf?
So if it's ghee, there are desi cows on the farm, and they free graze, and then the milking is done twice a day. The milk is bought to our milk processing center, and it's boiled and then lukewarmed and inoculated with curds. And every day in the morning at 4 a.m., curds are churned to get white butter, and white butter is melted to get the ghee. So it's a five-step process. Nobody in India does this ghee now because everybody makes it from cream, and it's very hard to distinguish ghee made from cream and ghee made from this five-step process, which we call the cultured ghee. So
Mhm.
that is what goes in making the ghee. The jaggery is made, like I said, daily, fresh on the farm with sugarcane that is of the native variety 86032 and not 265, which is the variety that is grown for making sugar. Growing this native sugarcane organically on the farm and then processing it the traditional way without using any sulfur as a coagulant, using ladyfinger extract as a coagulant, like it was done back in the day, and then getting this amazing pure jaggery that we sell to consumers. The wood pressed oils are made with native variety groundnuts and not the large Gujarati variety because they have more allergens. The native variety is more costly, but we uh, use only that and press it in a cold press fashion so that consumers get the best high quality product. So every product is very well researched. In summers, we sell gulkand a lot. Gulkand is grown on the Haldi Ghats. We get it from there. The rose petals are put in an earthen pot. The earthen pot is sealed and it is buried in the farm, in the soil for 45 days. It melts with the sun's heat. It gets cooked with the sun's heat under the ground, and then we remove it and then pack it in bottles and send it across so that the gulkand literally melts in your mouth. So that's an amazing product that we make. So every product has a origin story, a different way of making, and true to the promise that we give consumers.
So, alongside tradition, how do you continue innovating as a brand?
So, like, we keep our eyes and ears open to what consumers want, and protein atta is one of those innovations that we have. It reflects that emphasis on that kind of innovation. We realize that people are moving towards these words, and of course, the need for protein also. And so we for me, innovation is looking back at tradition to supply you what you want in contemporary language and form. There's
Hmm.
also a lot of research and development that we do at the back end,
Hmm.
in our laboratory with our teams. On the farming end, with our farming teams, for example, one of the products that we launched a couple of years back was this amazing date palm jaggery. And this date palm jaggery came about when one of my farmers came to me saying that he wants to remove his date palm orchard because he used to sell Nira, and Nira ferments to become alcohol, and he had great difficulty in selling it. So we researched on what can be done out of this, and we figured out that in Bengal, people make a form of jaggery called Nolan Good with this date palm, and we started making it 7 8 years back, and he's seen a 50-fold rise in income because we can sell this date palm jaggery, and consumers have got access to amazing quality date palm jaggery that is not available elsewhere. So all these innovations are inspired by tradition and are an attempt to serve consumers better.
Mhm. Got it, got it. And as a business scale, which part became the hardest to scale? Growing, sourcing, processing, storage, distribution.
So I think marketing and reaching to more consumers is always a challenge because cost of people seeing your brand is increasing by the day. But also the farmer angle, it's very difficult to work with farmers to keep
Hmm.
their trust, to handhold them. Manufacturing is relatively easier in the long term. In the short term, when we start off, it's difficult to set processes to get that quality that we want. So marketing and farming remain challenging, and the landscape changes every day.
Understood, understood. So agriculture itself is unpredictable. So as demand started growing, how difficult was it to maintain consistency and quality across batches?
So, like I said, we have teams working with farmers at the back end, huge teams. We have teams working in the manufacturing end, a huge quality team. All of these investments, along with hardware and software, enable us to keep to quality.
So as you mentioned, if working with farmers gets difficult, and in food business, scaling fast can sometimes dilute the quality. Were there moments where demand started growing faster than your systems could handle?
No, we have always, like I said, grown linear, and yeah, that's never been the case as such.
Nice, nice. Good to know. And what operational systems had to evolve for the company to, go from being a farm to becoming a serious business?
So, processing, manufacturing, setting up infrastructure, hiring people, setting up systems, uh, finance, compliances, licenses, logistic solutions, warehousing, marketing. So, all of these get developed, and you need to focus on.
So you mentioned you have a set of teams, who are working at the back end. So what does quality control actually look like inside the business on a day-to-day basis?
So quality control starts from the seed stage. We select our seeds and give it to farmers. We go every month and visit the farmer to see how he is fertigating it organically, irrigation, pest management. Then when it comes to our center for processing, the raw materials are tested comprehensively for a number of chemicals and other stuff. And then the finished good, once it's done, is tested again by our quality teams. And when the consumer has any complaint, the control batch samples are removed and tested to see whether the entire batch had it and what are the reasons for having such issues. So all of this ultimately makes the product the quality that we have.
A lot goes behind making one product from farm to shelf. So
Absolutely.
your today your products are available globally, as you mentioned, around 50 countries and across multiple channels. At what point did the business shift from being a farm-led brand to becoming a serious omni-channel consumer company?
No, it's never shifted. The focus is yet farm led. Like I said, Ajinkya is on the farm today also. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., I'll be on the farm with farmers. So it's yet farm led. It's never shifted yet.
But how do you grow such a business? Like
I think with the help
you
of
are
teams at the front end and at the middle end, they take up responsibilities and ensure that those activities are done in the best way possible.
And how did channels like D2C marketplaces, quick commerce, exports, and retail change the business operationally?
So, like quick commerce is growing rapidly, and so logistics and fulfillment becomes a challenge since we need to deliver to their warehouses in time. So that emphasis on that becomes something that we solve for. So with changing channel mix, yes, there are some challenges that we face in the initial part, but we set up systems and teams and infrastructure for it, which we can solve for in the long term. Yeah.
So, where do the most consumers buy from you? What is the mix like?
So right now my website leads sales and then followed by quick commerce, which is Blinkit, Instamart, and Zepto, and then Amazon, then Big Basket. There is some offline.
So, offline comes at the last right now.
Right now, offline in today's age, offline people prefer 10-minute delivery. People prefer online. You're always on your mobile. The shop should be out there, uh, and I see, offline for today's age consumers is not a preference channel. So online is where we focus on.
I want to understand on your international partners, like you export to 50 countries. That's not a small number. So, where did that understanding came from, and how are the market, like how are consumers accepting you there in foreign land?
So we sell through our own website as such. And I think 8 years back, a customer from US, Siddharth Shukla, called us and asked us to send the ghee. And for him, we removed all the licenses, export, import, MSDS, dangerous goods, etc. And we sent him the first bottle of ghee. And then he loved it, and word of mouth spread, and people started shopping on our website. So one consumer's request opened up our international business. And today also all of that business comes through our own website, so it's easier to cater to them. We ship from India within 4 days, we deliver across the
Hmm.
world.
Oh, that's quite interesting. Amazing. So, most D2C brands are built from metros, startup ecosystems, and VC circles. You build this from village. What disadvantages did that create early on?
No advantage, but the only advantage is, personally, you're not distracted by what's happening. You're not distracted by anybody interfering in your vision. You can
Hmm.
set up the initial ethos, philosophy, structure the way you want, the way you think will do justice to your main objective. And then when money and everything comes in, it can only be amplified. So I think
Hmm.
being cut away from what others were doing helped us develop a genuine, original, creative solution. You will find no
Hmm.
other brand across the world that does the business that we do in the way that we do, and no other
Hmm.
business before us which did it the way we did. So this originality came about because we were cut off from the world. We were not tuned to what somebody else was doing. We were genuinely solving for our own farm and our own farmers and our own consumers. So I think that has helped.
So that's your advantage, and you don't think there has been any disadvantage while you were cut off from the world.
See, disadvantages, I cannot know what I missed for, but being in touch with capital and people on the front end would have helped earlier if I had access
Hmm.
to them. But no regrets. I mean, I'm happy
Hmm.
doing it the way I'm doing it right now.
So, as you mentioned, you stayed bootstrapped for years before raising capital and later saw backing from names like Virendra Sehwag and Akshay Kumar. What did bootstrapping teach you that venture backed founders often miss?
See, no one does bootstrapping out of choice. Okay, so it if it teaches you anything, it teaches you something by by uh, not by design, but just you don't have a choice.
Hmm.
So I feel one thing is that it gave us a sense that this is a business, and the bottom line and the top line are equally important. um, and it gave us the time to build it the way we wanted to build it.
Satyajit, thank you for joining us. In a world that constantly chasing speed, this conversation was a reminder of the value of patience, whether in farming, building a brand, or earning trust. We appreciate you taking us behind the scenes of your journey and sharing your perspective so candidly. Thank you for being here and wishing you continued success in the years ahead. Thank you for listening to Building Actually with Abhishansa. I'll see you in the next episode.